It's been about a week since Clash Mini released Update 8. I've seen some people who absolutely love this update, and I've seen others who hate it and have already quit, but it seems most of the community is somewhere in the middle. I think we can all admit that this update fell short on some fronts, but in my opinion this was overall one of the best updates we've ever gotten. In today's video I'll be doing a deep analysis of the update. I'll discuss all the good and bad this update brought and why the community has been so outraged recently. Real quick before we get started, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the insane amount of support on the last video. 7,000 views, now 8,000 is something I never thought I'd hit, and especially not this quickly. We also hit 100 subscribers, which is just absolutely insane. Thank you all so much. Let's see if we can get a similar reception for this video by hitting that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to turn notifications on too. I have some huge projects I've been working on for you guys and you're not going to want to miss them. Also, I'd like to preface this video by saying I love Clash Mini and only want the best for it, which is exactly why I'm making this video. I hope the team sees this and is able to take something away from it. All I want is for Clash Mini to be as best it can be. Now without further ado, let's get into the video. We had a ton of good changes in this update. In fact, there was a lot more good than bad in my opinion. First of all, we had an insane amount of art in this update. The art team must have been working 24/7 because honestly everything we got in this update is just insane. We got a crazy amount of emotes, avatar skins, models for the new minis who I'll get to soon, and 6 new boards. Each of these boards also came with its own unique background music, and let me just say, whoever does the music for Clash Mini does not miss, because all the new tracks are absolute bangers. They also saw the removal of levels in an effort to make the game more free to play, instead replacing it with cosmetic and mini progression, removing the collection page and adding the diorama and set pages. In my opinion, dioramas are a fun addition that gives you more reason to collect skins, while also giving players a reason to log on consistently, even if it's just to check their Piggy and diorama upgrades, which will hopefully help a lot with player retention. While dioramas seemed a bit convoluted and overly complicated at first, just seeming like a middleman in the economy, I'm slowly getting used to them and starting to like them a lot. Now for sets, which I'll get into a lot more later. Ignoring the Alakia minis, refining your minis is actually really fun. Being able to see the effects of your refinement in-game through the banners that pop up on the side, and the emotes that your mini uses gives you a reason to refine your minis other than just collector level. Plus you can get some cool avatars through refinement. While there are some bad things about the economy that I'll get into later, the actual refinement in minis and upgrading of dioramas feels fun. We got the revamping of Rumbles in this update. It's now 4-player draft mode with a draft table so you can see what's available for you to draft. You can also finally gain trophies from Rumbles again, which gives you some more motivation to play them and makes them an alternate form of pushing if you don't like duels very much. It's good to see Rumbles finally back. I personally had tons of fun pushing with them and completing challenges in them. Now we're getting to the bulk of this update because we've barely gotten into it so far. We got 20 whole new minis in this update, which is 4 times the most we've ever gotten in an update before. One big complaint people have had in the past is that every game feels the same, largely because of the small number of minis we had in the game. Now that we have 20 whole new minis in the game, I'm sure we'll see a ton more variety after some balance changes, because right now over half the minis in the game are practically unusable on high ladder. Props to the team because they were definitely all working their asses off to get these done, and they did a great job in my opinion. I'm super excited to try them out when I can actually get my hands on them. Finally, we got some massive gameplay changes in this update. Firstly, all heroes all have a starting position in the middle row. You can move them away from this position whenever you want, but then they can't move again. This adds a ton of strategy. Now you have to predict where your opponent's hero is going to go, while also making sure you move yours to the best spot and at the right time. It also makes it so your opponent can't just send 80 Clash abilities into your hero, because you can just move it out of the way. Along with hero movement, we also got hero upgrades in Update 8. You can choose 1 hero upgrade per match, which is honestly one of the best decisions in this game ever. Although it's not implemented very well right now, it still adds a ton of strategy and helps remove hard counters, because you can pick the upgrade that best counters your opponent's hero and strategy. For example, if I'm playing Shield Maiden and my opponent is playing Wave Master, I can use Shield Maiden's second ability to taunt the whole board and make it so my opponent's Wave Master can only super my Shield Maiden. While there's still a ton of kinks to work out, the hero changes in this update have added a ton more strategy, and personally have made me enjoy playing a lot more. The biggest gameplay change we got in this update is also the biggest feature we got in this update: classes. Each mini now belongs to 1 or 2 classes, and when you have multiple minis of the same class on the board, you get special boosts. For example, when you have 2 mages on board, they'll get 50% extra damage, and when you have 4 mages, they'll get 20% extra ability damage. Classes add a ton of deck building strategy to the game, and it's personally made deck building way more fun for me. I've spent a ton of time just going through all the minis and making random decks since Update 8 dropped, and classes is a big reason for that. Gives me incentive to put certain minis in my deck that previously wouldn't have been very good in it. Overall, a majority of Update 8 was positive, but it's been brought down for a lot of people by a couple things. Firstly, I've seen a lot of outrage over some of the art in this update. The team has been making an effort to make Clash Mini have more of a toy feel through redoing the UI, mini models, basically all the art in the game. The remodels specifically caused a ton of controversy, and honestly a lot of them are super ugly. Look what they did to my girl Healing Ranger for example. I've seen countless posts on Discord, Twitter, and YouTube all talking about how much they hate the new models. Thankfully, Frame has said they'll be listening for feedback. As long as we keep our criticism purely constructive, I'm sure he'll pass it on to the team and they'll do their best to improve the models. Our team had a ton to work on and they're bound to miss on some things, but hopefully these models can be improved in the future. The in-game UI also got a big change in this update. While a lot of people didn't like it at first, me especially, I've slowly been getting used to it. Everything just feels so small though. The buttons, the board, the elixir counter. Some small improvements could be made, like moving the elixir counter back to the right side, making the timer move to the middle of the screen when it's getting low, making some elements a bit bigger. If they make these small tweaks while also keeping the vibe they're going for, it can improve the gameplay a lot. I personally have run out of time a bunch of times because I didn't even know the round was ending, because the timer's stuck in the top corner. A lot of the new art and update has caused some distress in the community, but with some small tweaks on models and UI, they can keep the art style they want while also making the community happy. Now back to the gameplay, we have the bad things about being able to upgrade your hero. While it's an amazing idea for all the reasons I discussed earlier, it's just implemented horribly. Hero upgrades should not be in the rerolls with minis, and they should not cost elixir, unless we're given more elixir to compensate for it. Heroes being in the rerolls with minis makes games incredibly random sometimes, and you can lose entire matches if you don't reroll your hero first round. For example, when you're playing Pink Fairy, you want to get her upgrade as soon as you can. But if your opponent is playing Pink Fairy 2 and they get their upgrade before you, you just lose. This adds an unnecessary amount of randomness to games, and it just feels super bad when you lose because you couldn't reroll into your hero. Also, with the addition of 5 elixir minis, it feels like we have a lot less elixir already. Then they just went and made hero upgrades cost elixir as well. So for starters, making it so you can just click on a hero and pick the upgrade, and either increase the elixir you get and keep the upgrades costing elixir, or make the upgrades free but lock them until round 2 or 3. If they make these small tweaks on upgrading heroes, along with balancing some of the upgrades, this would easily be one of the best additions in Clash Mini. Another gameplay change made this update isn't quite as big as the others, but still a pretty big downgrade in my opinion, and that's the removal of being able to emote in battle. They removed our ability to use emotes ourselves, and instead our minis now use them. Sounds like a cool idea, but why'd they have to remove our ability to emote too? It removes so much expression from games and it just feels like I'm playing as a robot. I think the minis emoting themselves is really cool, but please for the love of God, just let us use our emotes again. It'll give us more reason to collect emotes, and it'll make it feel like we're actually playing against real people again. Sure, you can still use words, but those aren't nearly as expressive. Please just let me get yawned on by Rosa. Now for what everyone agrees is easily the worst part of this update, we have the new economy. To start, we were told when we unlock a new hero or mini we'd have all their abilities, but when I opened the game and saw I only had Pink Fury's first ability. Like, what is this? Because it's definitely not a max hero if I can't use all its ability. There's literally zero reason to lock abilities behind certain levels, so please just let us have access to them all immediately. Next up, we have the toy machine gamble. While in my opinion gambling is inherently bad, it's clear Clash Mini wants some form of it in their game. So please just buff gold keys and remove epic keys. You literally only get 2 epic keys a month as a free-to-play player. That means it's going to take you literal years to unlock Battle Machine, plus by that point they'll have released a bunch more heroes anyways. Just remove epic keys, or at least don't lock units behind them, and then buff up the epic key rates too. If we get more keys into the system, we'll get these minis quicker, while still keeping that gambling feeling that Clash Mini. My biggest problem with this system though, is what our goal of progression is. In my opinion, minis should not be the reward we're progressing towards. Not having certain minis stops you from playing the top decks and being able to compete at high levels as a free-to-play player, which is what this update was all about. With levels, you could at least focus on one top deck and level it up, but now if you haven't unlocked a mini in the top deck, you're just screwed. Seems what the team was going for is something similar to Marvel Snap, where they stand by the idea that nobody should have a complete collection, but this game is not Marvel Snap. Players should have a complete collection. They shouldn't be working towards unlocking potentially overpowered minis because they'll be at a disadvantage to people who already have that mini that either got lucky or spent a ton of money. I know they likely won't change the system entirely again, but I hope they at least consider why unlocking minis being the primary form of progression is a bad idea. Anyways, that pretty much sums up my opinion on this update. I really hope someone was able to take something away from this video. I doubt anybody from Supercell is watching this, but on the off chance that someone is, I really hope my thoughts can help make this game better. This update had so much good, but there's still a ton that can be improved on. I truly love this game so much and want nothing more than for it to succeed. I hope this video can help a little bit on that. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Skeletron out.